Okay. So these two sets of problems up here, you're solving the system by elimination. These two are a review of what we did last time. You're either doing it by addition or subtraction. If you have two things that are exactly the same, you subtract. If you have two things that are exactly opposite, you add. So I look at this, and the way to think about this is I always try in order what will work. So I try addition. If I take 5x plus 5x, I get 10x. Negative 2y plus 3y gives me 1y. I'll still have x's and y's. That doesn't eliminate anything. Addition doesn't work. Because we haven't done anything else, I know that subtraction will. Because we haven't done anything other than addition and subtraction at this point. So if addition doesn't work, I try subtraction. 5x minus 5x, no more x. Negative 2y minus 3y. Negative 2 minus 3 gives me negative 5y equals 11 minus 21, negative 10. Okay, watch your negatives and positives. Divide by negative 5, y equals 2. And once again, we're not finished. We do have to still solve for x. Just take that y, the 2, put it into either one of these two equations. It doesn't matter which one. I'll go ahead and put it in the top one just because. So I have 5x minus 2 times 2 equals 11. So 5x minus 4 equals 11. Add 4. 5x equals 15. Divide by 5. X equals 3. So I get y equals 2 and x equals 3. I always get two answers with these. Questions on the first problem? Okay, second problem, same idea. First thing I try to do is add. If I add, will something go away? 2 plus 5, no. Negative 3 plus negative 3 is negative 6. So adding once again won't work. I need to subtract again. Okay. 2x minus 5x, negative 3x. Negative 3y minus negative 3y. Anything minus itself is 0. Negative 1 minus negative 7. Negative 1 minus negative 7. That ends up being plus 6. Divide both sides by negative 3. And I get x equals negative 2. And then I have to do the same thing in the last one, plug negative 2 in either equation. I'm going to put it in the top one again. So I'll put it into this. So 2 times negative 2 minus 3y equals negative 1. Negative 4 minus 3y equals negative 1. Add 4 to both sides. Negative 3y equals 3. Divide by negative 3. And I get y equals negative 1.
Is that a 7 or a 1 above that plus 4?
It's a 1.
Just making sure.
Okay. Y equals negative 1.
I was just making.
Yeah. Questions? So, we've done elimination partially. Okay. We solved systems by graphing, which is where do they cross? We did solve systems by substitution. You're taking one part, replacing it in another one. And we did solving systems by addition and subtraction. So we're eliminating by adding two equations or by subtracting two equations as necessary. However, sometimes that doesn't work. Okay? So I can still do. So when I look at a problem like this, I go, okay, can I eliminate? If I add these two equations together, negative 2 plus 7, that gives me 5x. 15 plus negative 5, that gives me 10y. I didn't get rid of anything. Addition doesn't work. Right? So then I try subtraction. Negative 2 minus 7, that's negative 9. 15 minus negative 5, that's 20. Once again, nothing got disappeared. Nothing was eliminated when I added or subtracted. Doesn't mean we can't do elimination. Doesn't mean we need to do substitution. And I'm going to tell you, substitution on this would be really bad. Because if I solve for x or y in either one of these, I've got some fractions, and I've got some nasty fractions, and you don't want to do that. I can still do elimination. But what I need to do is I need to change one of the equations so I can eliminate. And this is the hardest thing for students to decide, is how do I eliminate? What do I multiply by? Because I'm going to multiply one or both equations, and I'm going to tell you, you've got a hint right here how many you need to do on this one, because it's in the directions. One equation. So if I multiply and I look at the first, I go, okay, I look at the equations, I go, negative 2 and 7. Can I multiply one of those by a whole number to get the same, by any whole number to get the other one? Can I multiply 2 times something to get 7 easily? I can't. I can multiply by 7/2, but that's a fraction, and I'll have fractions. I don't really want fractions. And I can't multiply 7 by something other than 2 7s to get 2. So I don't want to look at those, but if I look at my y's, I have 15 and 5. If I multiply the bottom equation by 3, I have 15 and negative 15. So here's what you do. Pay close attention, because the biggest thing you want to do is stay organized on this. Is I take my bottom equation, in this case, times 3. 7 times 3, negative 5 times 3, 17 times 3. Everything times 3. So 3 times 7, it gives me 21x. 3 times negative 5, negative 15y, equals 3 times 17, 41. No. Yeah, 41. No, that's not right. 51, that's it. 51. I'm trying to do it in my head. 51. So I multiplied the bottom equation by 3. The top equation I am not multiplying, but I still want to move it over so they line up. So here's what I do. Just move the whole thing over so it lines up. Negative 2x plus 15y equals negative 32. Now, if I look at my y's, what I have? I have a 15y and a negative 15y. I can add to get rid of my y's now. I changed one of the equations. Now I do addition. Okay. Negative 2 plus 21, that gives me 19x. 15 plus negative 15, no more y's. And negative 32 plus positive 51. It's 19. Okay. The one difference between what we were doing on Thursday, what we just started with this morning, and here is I have to change one of the equations so I can do addition. Okay. Divide both sides by 19. X equals 1. Okay. Am I done? How many answers do I need?
You need X and Y.
I need X and Y. I need 2 answers for these. So I take the 1 and I plug it into either equation. Any one of the equations that I have up there, I can plug it in, one for X and solve for Y. These numbers in this one are smaller. Put in 1 for X. 7 times 1 minus 5y equals 17. 7 minus 5y equals 17. Subtract 7. Negative 5y equals 10. Divide by negative 5. And I get y equals negative 2. Okay. All right. So, second equation, second system. First thing I always do, can I eliminate by addition? If I add those two equations together, will x or y be eliminated? No. I'll get 3x and 9y, that won't be. Can I subtract? No. I'll get 1x and 3y, nothing's eliminated. So I have to multiply one or both equations. And in this case, just one. If I look at my x's, can I multiply one of the equations to make it look like the other? At least just the x portion. I don't care about the rest.
You can multiply the bottom one by 2.
I can multiply the bottom one by 2. So if I multiply the bottom one by 2, I get 2x plus 6y equals 18. Be very careful. The most common mistake students make is they don't remember to multiply what it's equal to. They don't remember to multiply by the constant on the other end. They just do the variables and forget the other part. Okay. Take the top one, just copy it over. 2x plus 6y equals 18. And then I have two things that are exactly the same. So I want to subtract on this one. Two things that are opposite I add, two things exactly the same I subtract. So 2x minus 2x is how many x's? How many x's? 0 x's. 6y minus 6y. 0. Uh-oh. 18 minus 18 equals 0. This happens. We had this happen when we talked about this with the graphing ones. We talked about this with the substitution ones. This is the first one with elimination. My variables drop out. Is that a true statement or a false statement? It's true. If it's a true statement, then I have an infinite number of solutions. If your variables both drop out, and you have a true statement, you have an infinite number of solutions. There's an infinite number of XY combinations that work in that thing. Okay? Questions? Do those two. Do those two. Hardest part is deciding what to multiply by. Take a look at just the x's. Can I easily match those? If that's not true, just take a look at the y's. Can I easily match those? Okay. Ignore the rest of it when you're trying to decide what to multiply by. Try addition first. Try subtraction first. If those don't work, then you want to multiply one or both equations. So the first equation, I look at my x's, and although it's nice, one's positive, one's negative. I can't make 5 and 3 look like each other easily. So I look at the y's, I go, oh yeah, I can take -2, multiply it times 3, and I get 6 and -6. So I multiply the top equation times 3, and I get -15x minus 6y equals 3 times 6 is 18. Take the second one, just copy it over. 3x plus 6y equals 6. And then because I have one positive and one negative, I add the equations. -15 plus 3 is -12x. -6, positive 6, they go away. Equals 18 plus 6 is 24. Divide by -12. And I get x equals -2. And plug that -2 in either equation to solve for y. If I plug -2 into the bottom one, I get 3 times -2 equals, plus 6y equals 6. -6 plus 6y equals 6. Add 6. 6y equals 12. Divide by 6. Y equals 2. Okay. Questions on that one? Next one, same idea. I can't just add or subtract, nothing goes away, so I go, all right, I look at my x's. Ooh, that's an easy one. 3 times 2 gives me 6. sometimes, and when I do this, I look at the other equation 2, or I look at the other variable, 2 and negative 3. Maybe that would be easier because one will end up being negative and positive, and I can add, and I can eliminate my y's instead. You can double check. Sometimes you can do either one or both. There's choices. Okay. This one, it's easy enough to get rid of the x's, so I multiply times 2, and I get 6x plus 4y equals negative 2. Copy the other one over. 6x minus 3y equals 12. And then I subtract, because I have 2 that are the same. 6 minus 6 gone. 4 minus negative 3 is 7y. Watch your negatives and positives. Negative 2 minus 12 is negative 14. Divide by 7. Y equals negative 2. Plug negative 2 into either equation. I'll put it in the top one here. 3x plus 2 times negative 2 equals negative 1. Sorry, yeah, 3x. 3x minus 4 equals negative 1. Add 4. 3x equals 3. Yeah. If 3x equals 3, x equals 1. Okay. Questions? So, whenever you're solving, whenever you're solving by elimination, try adding first. Adding's the easiest. Try adding first. If adding doesn't work, try subtraction. If subtraction doesn't work, can I multiply one equation to make it look like the other? Multiply 1. If that doesn't work, then you might have to multiply both equations. Okay. And if I do this, if I look at my first example problem here, add them together. I get 7x and 5y doesn't work. Subtract. I get negative 1x and negative 1y. That doesn't work. I can't take 3 and make it look like 4 without doing fractions. And vice versa, 4 to 3. I can't make 2 look like 3 and 3 look like 2 without using fractions. So multiplying one equation doesn't work. I can multiply both equations. When we're coming down to both equations, all I have to do is say, okay, what do I want to get rid of? Do I want to get rid of my x's or do I want to get rid of my y's? Your choice. And it's very easy to decide which ones to multiply by. So I'm gonna on this equation, on this one, I'm gonna get rid of my x's first. Okay, doesn't really matter, x's, y's. You have your choice. So I'm just gonna do x's on this one because I just feel like doing x's on this one. Okay. Here's what you do. You're gonna have to multiply both equations. What do I multiply by? A very easy choice to make. I multiply the top one times 4 and the bottom one times 3. Do you see where the 3 and the 4 come from? Yeah. From the 3 and the 4 on the x's, I just swap the 3 and the 4 on the x's. That's all you have to do. It's actually easier to do in some ways this than multiplying 1, some ways. Multiply the top equation. Remember, multiply everything. 12x plus 8y equals 4. Bottom equation, 12x plus 3 times 9y equals negative 6. And then I have 12 and 12. They're both the same, so I have to subtract. 12x minus 12x, no more x's. 8y minus 9y.
Y.
Negative y. Right? 8 minus 9 would be a negative. So I get negative y equals, and this is a 4. 4 minus negative 6.
Negative 2.
4 minus negative 6. 10. Right? 4 minus negative 6 gives you 10. Watch your negatives and positives. So if negative y equals 10, y equals negative 10. escape. Okay. I'm not done because I need my x's, right? So I take y, I put negative 10 in. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the top equation here. 3x plus 2 times negative 10 equals 1. And solve for x. 3x minus 20 equals 1. Add 20 to both sides. 3x equals 21. Divide by 3. And then x equals 7. Okay, see that? Take a look at the next one. Can I add and eliminate? If I add these two equations, I get 7.
Yeah, you
I
can
get-
eliminate. Well, not eliminate all the way.
It needs to be eliminated all the way, or you can't do it, right? I need to have only one. When I combine the two equations, I want one variable. I want one eliminated, which means one's gone, one's left. I add them, nothing goes away. If I subtract them, nothing goes away. Can I easily multiply 3 to get 4 and 4 to get 3? No. I mean, I can't do just one equation. Can I do just one equation here? No. So I can eliminate my x's or my y's. This one, I'm going to eliminate my y's. And there's a really good reason for it. There's actually 2 reasons for it. 1, 3 and 2 are actually smaller than 4 and 3. So I probably should have picked 2 and 3 on that one. But it doesn't make that much of a difference. But let's say I had, instead of 3 and 4, I had 13 and 14. I don't want to multiply by 13 and 14 if I don't have to. I want to multiply by 2 and 3 instead, because they're easy, right? Okay. But one's positive, one's negative. And if I have one that's positive and one that's negative, it makes doing my elimination, my combining, easier. So if I multiply the top equation times 2 and the bottom equation times 3, okay, 2 times the top one, 8x plus 6y equals negative 38. Multiply the bottom one by 3, I get 9x minus 6y equals negative 30. Gentlemen, positive 6, negative 6, I want to add on this one. 17x, y's disappear, negative 68. Divide both sides by 17. X equals negative 4. Easy peasy. Take negative 4, put it into either one of these.
Hey, wait. What's the answer on that one? Oh, wait, never mind. Where did you get the 4 minus 6? Like, what do you mean by that?
Okay, if you were actually paying attention at the time I did this, rather than playing on your phone,
No, I wasn't.
yeah, you weren't paying attention. Okay, came from there.
Okay, well, I just didn't even see where, like,
Okay,
why you probably from there to there.
so write it off in another space to show why 4 minus negative 6
Wouldn't that
is
just be
10.
4 plus? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I take negative 4, I plug it into x. Gentlemen, put in negative 4 for x. I'm going to put it in the top equation. Plus 3y equals negative 19. Negative 16 plus 3y equals negative 19. Add 16. 3y equals negative 3. So y equals negative 1. Question? Okay, so we're doing elimination. I try adding, it doesn't work. I try subtracting, doesn't work. I can't multiply one. I have to multiply both equations. It doesn't matter which. I'm going to multiply the top one by 5 and bottom one by 2 to give me negatives and positives. So I get 15x plus 10y equals 20, and 4x minus 10y equals 18. And then add the two equations, so I get 19x equals 38. Divide by 19, x equals 2. Now I have to figure out what y equals, so I take x, plug it in for either one of them. I'll put it in the top one. 3 times 2 plus 2y equals 4. 6 plus 2y equals 4. Subtract 6. 2y equals negative 2. Divide by 2. Y equals 1, negative 1. Okay. Second equation, same thing. I try adding, doesn't work. Try subtracting, doesn't work. Can't multiply one, so I multiply both. Multiply the top one by 2, bottom one by 3, times 2, times 2, times 3. So I get 10x minus 6y equals 42. 12x minus 6y equals 48. And then subtract. 10 minus 12 is negative 2x. 6 minus negative 6, no y. 42 minus 48 is negative 6. Divide by negative 2. X equals 3. Take 3, plug it into either equation, put it in the bottom one. 4 times 3 minus 2y equals 16. 12 minus 2y equals 16. Subtract 12. Negative 2y equals 4. Divide by negative 2. And I get y equals negative 2. And then the last two problems. Can't multiply, or sorry, can't add, can't subtract. I can multiply, and I only have to multiply the top one by 3. So I get 12x plus 3y equals 18. Copy the other one over. 2x minus 3y equals negative 4. Add those two together. 16x equals, sorry, 14x. My bad. 14x equals 14. Divide by 14. X equals 1. Plug in 1 for x, put it in the top one. 4 times 1 plus y equals 6. 4 plus y equals 6. Subtract 4. And y equals 2. Second equation, I can subtract. Don't need to multiply at all. Subtract. Negative 2 minus negative 2 is 0x. 5 minus 5y is 0y equals 7 minus 12 is negative 5. This is false. So, no solution. And that's it.